In this video, join me in exploring the Indonesia's Central Aerospace Museum at Yogyakarta. Hello everyone, welcome back. As you know, today I am going into the Central Aerospace Museum, also known as Museum Dirgantara in Indonesian. To get in, you'll need to pay an amount of 6,000 rupiah per each person. That's 36 cents. And with that, you are able to explore the whole area. Now, let's continue into the video. The first aircraft we'll look at is the PBY-5A Catalina, with the registration of Papa Bravo 501. It's an amphibious patrol aircraft from the United States that served in Indonesia from 1950 to 1964. Built by Consolidated Aircraft Corporation and powered by Pratt & Whitney R1830-92 engines, with each producing 1,200 horsepower. The Catalina had a wingspan of 31.7 meters and could cruise at around 200 kilometers per hour, with a range of 3,200 kilometers. Operated by a 5-person crew in the 5th Air Force Squadron based in Malang. This aircraft was officially handed over to the museum in 1991, symbolizing Indonesia's aviation progress after independence. Moving into the Cold War era, the F-5A Tiger arrived at Indonesia in 1980s as a multi-role fighter jet built by Northrop Corporation. It was powered by two General Electric J85 GE21 engines and could reach speeds of up to Mach 1.38. That's around 1,700 kilometers per hour. Serving with the 14th Air Force Squadron at Squadron Air Base, the Tiger was armed with two 20mm cannons and 7 hardpoints for missiles, bombs, or extra fuel tanks. For more than 3 decades and lots of upgrades, it took part in joint air exercises and carried out for a variety of missions, including air combat, ground attack, reconnaissance, and tactical support. The F-5A Tiger was officially added to the museum's collection on 2017. Before the Tiger, Indonesia's first supersonic jet was the MiG-21 Fishbat, imported from the Soviet Union in 1962 to support Operation Tricolor. It could fly at speeds of up to Mach 1.76 or around 2,175 km per hour and was equipped with a 23mm cannon, air-to-air missiles, and 500 kilograms of bombs. The MiG-21 was retired and added into the museum in 1985, representing a time when Indonesia strengthened its air power and formed close ties with the Soviet Union. Another important Soviet aircraft was the Tupolev Tu-16. It was a Soviet twin-engine bomber that arrived in Indonesia in 1961. Operated by the 41st and 42nd Air Force Squadrons at Squadron Air Force Base. It became Indonesia's first long-range strategic bomber. Powered by two Mikulin AM-3 engines, the Tu-16 could reach about Mach 0.86, that's around 1,050 km per hour, and carry up to 9,000 kilograms of bombs. It had multiple 23mm cannons and a crew of 7, including 2 gunners for defense. The KS variant featured 2 KS-1 Comet missiles mounted under the wings, large aircraft-shaped missile, and it is built as an anti-ship weapons. The Tu-16 represented the major leap in Indonesia's Air Force power and remains one of the most iconic aircraft of the nation's Cold War era. This is the Hawker Hunter FMK-4 with the registration of November 112. It is originally flown by the Royal Netherlands Air Force at the 322nd Air Force Squadron. Powered by a Rolls-Royce Avon 115 turbojet engines, it could reach speeds of about Mach 1.2 and carried 4 30mm cannons. During its service, the November 112 took part in Operation Tricolor, battling to defend West Area. Unfortunately, the aircraft was later involved in a crash landing and was abandoned for several years. And later, it was recovered and officially dedicated to the museum in 2018. Next, we have the C-130B Hercules with a registration of Tango 1301. It is a tactical transport aircraft made by Lockheed Martin. It arrived in 1961 and served with the 31st and moved to the 32nd Air Force Squadron. With 4 Allison turboprop engines, it could carry up to 20 tons of cargo over a distance of 3,800 kilometers, carrying 10 until 13 crews, flying at 19,000 feet, and flying at the speeds of to 555 kilometers per hour. The Hercules was truly a workhorse, taking part in many major operations such as Trikora, Dwikora, Saroja, Rajawali, and much more. After its final flight around early 90s, it was finally placed in the museum in 2018. Another well-known transport aircraft is the Fokker F-27-400M troopship with the registration of Tango 2707. Built in the Netherlands and powered by Rolls-Royce Dart engines, it could fly at the top speed of 460 km per hour with a range of 1,900 km. The Fokker served both as a VIP transport and a tactical airlift under the 2nd Air Force Squadron based at the Halim Perdana Kusuma Air Base. It was retired in 2013 and dedicated to the museum in 2018. For pilot training, Indonesia first used the T-34 Alpha Mentor, a piston engine aircraft built by Beechcraft Company in 1951. It was powered by a 225 horsepower Continental engine and could reach speeds of up to 304 km per hour. The T-34 Alpha served with the 102nd Training Squadron for around 16 years and replaced by the T-34 Charlie. Replacing to the Mentor was the AS-202 Bravo, a Swiss-designed training aircraft acquired in 1981. It was powered by a 200 horsepower Lycoming engine, could fly up to 345 km per hour, and stayed airborne for about 4 hours. It was first used for basic pilot training and was retired in 2017. The T-34 Alpha was later replaced by the T-34 Charlie, a turboprop trainer aircraft that brought in improvements in performance and reliability. The T-34 Charlie was powered by a Pratt & Whitney PD-6A engine, giving it more better speed, climb rate, and endurance with its predecessor. It continued the mission of training new pilots at the Air Force Academy. This is the Grumman UF-1 Albatross with the registration of India Romeo 0117. It is an amphibious aircraft from the United States that served in the Indonesian Air Force between 1957 and 1977 with the 5th Squadron at Abdurrahman Saleh Air Base. It was mainly used for maritime patrol, reconnaissance, and search and rescue missions, with 2 piston engines and the ability to land both land and water. The Albatross was preserved in the museum in 1992. This is the British Aerospace Hawk Mk-53, a training and a light attack jet that entered Indonesian service in 1981. It was operated by the 103rd Training Squadron and later the 15th Air Force Squadron at Madiun. The Hawk also performed in aerobatics teams such as Spirit 85, Jupiter, and Jupiter Blue. It served as both trainer and tactical aircraft before being retired in 2015. This right here is the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk, an American light attack aircraft, served in the 11th and 12th Air Force Squadrons, and took part in several major military operations, such as Operations Saroja and Aviadejavu. It carried out 2 20mm cannons and up to 3,600 kilograms of bombs and rockets. The Skyhawk remained in service until its retirement in 2004. This is the Cessna 401, a twin-engine American transport aircraft that served from 1969, used on Operation Pepera and more. With a cruise speed of 435 km per hour and a range of about 1,900 km, the aircraft was retired and preserved on 2017. This is the North American Rockwell OV-10 Bronco, a light attack and observation aircraft used by the 1st and 21st Air Force Squadrons. for counterinsurgency, also known as COINT, and reconnaissance. It is equipped with the two turboprop engines and armed with guns, rockets, and bombs. The Broncos saw action in East Timor and domestic operations such as Operation Seroja, Guru, and Tumpas. It was preserved in 2007. This is the N250 Gatot-Kaca. It is an Indonesian-made turboprop aircraft developed by IPTN, or now known as PTDI. It is designed by Professor B.J Habibie. Built in 1995, it was powered by two Allison AE2100C engines. The aircraft measured 26.3 meters in length, had a wingspan of 28 meters, and could carry up to 50 passengers. The N250 made its maiden flight on 10 August 1995, registered as Papa Kilo X-Ray November Golf. The flight was witnessed by President Suharto. In 1997, the Gatot-Kaca flew to Paris Air Show after a 13,500 kilometer journey from Bandung through Batam, Bangkok, Calcutta, Bombay, Muscat, Riyadh, Alexandria, Brindisi, and Le Bourget. Despite the international attention, the 1998 Asian financial crisis halted its mass production. The Gatot-Kaca prototype was preserved at the museum in 2020, after being stored at Bandung Hussein Sastranegara Airport. This one right here is the Avia-14. It is a Czechoslovak-built transport aircraft based on the Soviet Ilyushin IL-14 design. It can fly around 24,000 feet with a maximum speed around 417 km per hour. The Avia-14 entered service in 1958 with the 2nd Air Force Squadron at Halim Perdana Kusuma Air Base and used for logistic transport. The aircraft was retired in 1975 and preserved in the museum in 2018. Besides from airplanes, they also have an helicopters in here, like this one, a Bell 204 that is operated by the 7th Squadron, which is used to be a VIP helicopter. This NAS 322 helicopter is a licensed built from Airbus helicopters. It can carry out 18 to 24 passengers with a maximum speed of 278 km per hour. Then this circles the H-34 and Mi-4 helicopters. Both are used for transport, medics, and much more. One of the random things I found in here is this Soviet-built SA-75 Divina. It is built as a surface-to-air missiles. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys can learn something about some Indonesian Air Force aircraft history. But the whole trip doesn't end here. I'll drop the second video soon. Well, thank you and have a nice day.